What's good, y'all? Tristan here, and today I'd like to share with you 25 more Aussie slang words and phrases. I have done 100 Aussie slang words and phrases. I have done 50 more Aussie slang words and phrases. I've done 20 dirty Aussie slang words. I've also done an Aussie slang competition with a friend where there were 10 Aussie slang words in there, and I've even done an Aussie slang quiz. We've covered a lot of slang, but you guys absolutely love these videos. These are some of my most viewed videos, so we are doing one last one. I know it's unfortunate, it's gonna be the last one, but I feel like I'm getting close to exhausting all the Aussie slang, and really I just don't want to be too repetitive, so this is gonna be the last Aussie slang video that I do. I know, tear, I'm sad too. Don't worry, it's gonna be a good one. We got 25 great Aussie slang words, and if you haven't seen any of those videos that I just mentioned, I'll have them all linked in the description below. Number 1 is breezy. So breezy does not mean that it's windy outside here in Australia, or it does mean that, but it also means that something's easy. Maybe you had a pretty easy day at work, you know, it wasn't too difficult, you just say, ah, it was a breezy day. Or you're talking about getting some tasks done that won't take up too much time, not gonna be too difficult, oh, it's breezy. You might occasionally hear this in America, but not really. You might, if you heard it in America, it'd probably be said like with the word easy, you'd be like, oh, it's easy breezy. But it's not really common, and I've heard it much more here in Australia. Number 2 is ambo. Ambo is just short for ambulance. And number 3 is toolie. So this is a good one. I mentioned in my 50 more Aussie slang words video, I mentioned schoolies here, what schoolies were. It's like this time of the year after the year 12 kids graduates, where it's kind of almost like a spring break, but they're out of school, they go to the beaches, they go party, they go crazy. But the thing is about those parties is it's only year 12s that are supposed to be there. So if you show up to schoolies and you're not like a year 12 graduate, then you are a toolie. You are an older guy trying to hook up with some young girl. You don't even have to be that old. If you're just, I don't know, a couple years out, then you're a toolie. Number 4 is gutter. So while we call this the gutter, it's not that that's not a gutter here, but they also call this a gutter, so that is like the curb. And in America, you would never refer to that as a gutter. Like, that is a curb, a gutter is this thing. Very different. Number 5 is a bonnet. So I didn't know this one until like a couple weeks ago, but a bonnet is just a hood of a car. I asked this guy I was working with, I was like, yo, like pop the hood, and he was like, oh my god, that's so American. I was like, what, like a hood? He's like, yeah. So apparently the part of the car where the engine's stored, we call that a hood, or like lift the hood. Here you would say lift the bonnet. Number 6 is a lead. So a lead here in Australia is what we would call in America an extension cord. I think technically the full term would be like an extension lead, but I've never heard anyone say it. They just call them leads. Number 7 is a wog. So a wog is an Eastern European immigrant, or like, yeah, someone who came from Eastern Europe. 8 is a pommy. In Australia, pommy refers to someone who is British. Sure are lots of pommies over here in Australia. Number 9 is yank, or a yank. I don't know how I haven't included this in any of my other lists yet, because it's really common and I am one. So a yank just refers to an American, oftentimes not in the most positive way, but it's not necessarily negative. However, another way that they refer to Americans here, which is always negative, is definitely negative, is a seppo. Seppo is short for septic tank, and septic tank for some reason refers to Americans, so I don't know, I kind of get it. I guess, I don't know, we're toxic, we're dirty. I'm sure there has to be more of an origin that I don't understand. If you know it, please feel free to comment it below. Why are we called seppos? Or maybe not why are we called them, but like, you know, where'd the phrase come from? Number 11 is Chrissy. Chrissy is just short for Christmas. Next up, we got poof doof, and this is really cool. I think this is really only a thing in Australia, but a poof doof is like a party in the middle of the bush. I almost got to go to one, but I left Cairns like 3 days before the one was going on, but pretty much what it is like a lot of backpackers, or a lot of times not backpackers, like I think locals will do it too, but you pretty much like, everybody just drives their car out to like the middle of the woods, like middle of some farm, literally middle of nowhere, and you just park your cars in a field and you just have a huge party. Definitely not like the safest things. Like, obviously there's a lot of alcohol people are drinking, but they're also kind of known for there being a lot of drugs there. And yeah, you pretty much party like throughout the entire night. The sun rises in the morning, and then you like, that's about when you go to sleep, and you just like sleep wherever you pass out at. You sleep in the field, you sleep in the car. Yeah, kind of a weird thing, but yeah, it's a thing here, and it's called a poof doof. Next one is one I've only heard like once or twice, but I don't know, it's kind of like a dying word apparently, but that is a milk bar. A milk bar is just like a convenience store, like a corner store. If there's a convenience store with a gas station, then you call it like a servo. So a milk bar would only refer to like a convenience store that doesn't have a gas station, like just the convenience store. Number 14 is Rexona. So Rexona is just like the hygiene brand that in America that we would call Degree. They make like deodorant and stuff. Yeah, here in Australia, Rexona. 15 are Super Dupers. So Super Dupers are just what we would call in America, like an ice pop or a freeze pop. They call them Super Dupers here because like the main brand that makes them is Super Dupers, but it's kind of like Kleenex. Like you just call all tissues Kleenex now. Well, yeah. that's kind of how it is here. All those ice pops are just called super dupers. 16 is actually something I learned from a comment that I got. Someone asked me, why do Americans always say taxes, like I'm filing my taxes? Yes, there are multiple types of taxes, like, I don't know, income tax, sales tax, state tax, but like when you file it, you're filing your tax. So he thought it was kind of weird that we call it filing your taxes in America, whereas apparently in Australia when they say it, they say we are doing our tax. 17 is tap, so we would call the thing that you like get water out of in your kitchen, like the faucet, most likely, like the thing in your sink that the water comes out of, we call it the faucet. Here in Australia, they call it the tap, and like, yeah, they don't use the word faucet here. Faucet is like a very American word. 18 is bindis or a bindi. Bindis, they're like little like stickers in the grass, you know, like when you step on them, they go in your foot and they hurt. We would probably call them like stickers, or some people might say they're like thorns, but no, stickers is the best American word we use for them. Here, they're called bindis. Sook is to cry, like have a sook, have a cry. 20 is pram. A pram is what we would call in America a stroller. 21 is gander, like have a gander. In America, we would say have a look, or like look at something, so like gander means to look. And 22 is besser block. So yeah, I had no idea what this was when I heard it. A besser block is a cinder block. So this thing right here, we call those cinder blocks. Here in Australia, they are besser block, or it's spelled besser, but they kind of pronounce them besser blocks. 23 is a ranga, and a ranga here in Australia is a ginger, or like a redhead, you know, someone with red hair, light complexion, they are a ranga. If you're enjoying this video, guys, please make sure to give it a big old like. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't seen all of my other Aussie slang videos, make sure you go check them out, because there are a lot of really cool Aussie slang words in them as well. Let's get on with it. The last two Aussie slang words ever on this channel. Posty. So a posty is like a mailman or mailwoman. You know, it's actually a pretty clever word, I think, because, you know, we don't have like a gender neutral word, I guess like a male person, but that just sounds so weird. So posty here, the person who delivers your mail. Number 25, this is such an Aussie saying, I hear it all the time, but it is doing fuck all, fuck all. It just means you're not doing anything. I'm sure people in America will say it sometimes, but it's really common here. As I've said in past videos, they cuss a lot more here, and yeah, it's a common phrase here in Australia. Thank you all so much for watching my video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to give it a like, and yeah, see y'all in my next video, guys. Peace.